Hi, everybody. My name is Kenny K. Royal.
And I'm Tracy Ellis Ross, better known as Joan Clayton on Girlfriends.
I figured that's where it was about to go with this. We just found out that Girlfriends, or a way to watch Girlfriends on a streaming app, because I don't know anybody out there that listens to this. If you grew up, I guess, in our time frame of like being around 30 or whatever, you were black, most likely you knew about the show Girlfriends. It was a pivotal show in the black community. And I don't understand why Netflix, Hulu, any of these streaming apps, YouTube TV, nobody has Girlfriends. And it was very bizarre to me. Even Apple TV, you just looked and only had what?
They had season 7 and 8.
And I'm just like, bitch. But it's been like this for a while. I haven't been able to watch Girlfriends for years. I've had to like settle for like going on to like YouTube and looking at these grainy ass pictures of somebody recording their TV of the episodes. But Girlfriends, like, literally hands down my favorite show of all time. I mean, I can't think of another show that I can just go back and grab. You know my memory's bad. I can just go back and grab quotes from the show. That's how in love with that show that I am. But we just found it. It's holiday time. Holiday time. Love that show so much. But anyway, so that's going to be something that gets binged as soon as this is over with.
Yeah, very much so.
I'm sitting up in here with a face full of makeup, most nails. I have 9 out of 10 nails because one got missed.
These nails are sharp. They scratched my neck.
Oh, did they? So sorry. Y'all, I like to get the, what are they, stiletto? I like to get the stiletto nails because I like to look like a Disney villain.
Yeah, I love my coffin nails.
But anyway, so you went last time.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go first this time with the topics. Okay. My first one is about Martin Scorsese versus Marvel. Have you seen anything about it?
No.
Okay. I was thinking that you might have. But so Martin Scorsese came out the side of his neck and started talking. Okay. So he said, there was like an interview that he did, and somebody had asked him something about the Marvel movies, I believe. And so he said, they had asked him how he sees them as cinema or art or whatever. He said, I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experience to another human being. And I'm like, how? So, of course, you wouldn't know this because you just said you tried to watch it. You probably tried to watch one of the first movies and said this is one for you and left it alone. But especially after the last two, and it's not just the last two, most of the movies have this going on in them. But the last two specifically, the Avengers ones.
Yeah.
How can you look at those and say that it's not about, you say it's not cinema because it's not about human beings trying to convey emotional and psychological experience to each other? The fuck do you mean? We have that all throughout them.
I feel like, it's definitely, although these are people that are in supernatural circumstances, it's very much so about the human condition as far as how we're reacting and dealing with tragedies and being accepted and all different types of things. So to say that it's not basically saying it's not talking about the human condition is stupid just because they're supernatural. I feel like they are extremely relatable. If they weren't, people wouldn't be crying in the motherfucking theaters. So, and which is so crazy because I also have a topic that's very similar about Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, no, she's a part of this too.
Is she? Okay.
So, hold on, let me go through the rest of this.
Okay.
We just discussed both of those. But, so Robert Downey Jr. responded to this. And they were asking him something. He was like, according to Scorsese, it's not cinema. I got to take a look at that, Downey said. And it says, he was on Howard Stern, that's where it was. Stern quickly followed up on the issue, asking if Downey thought the Iron Man and broader Marvel movies qualified as cinema. And Robert said, I mean, it plays in theaters. He responded. He said, I appreciate his opinion. I think it's like anything where we need all the different perspectives so we can come to a center and move on. It'd be like me saying Howard Stern isn't radio. He said, it makes no sense to say it. Despite all that, Downey doesn't think Scorsese's comments come from a place of envy or of the box office or cultural success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course he's not jealous of the success, Downey said. He's Martin Scorsese. And Downey added that there's something to be said for how genre movies like the Marvel films denigrated the art form of cinema, but said that he was happy to be a part of the problem if there is one. And he said, do you actually think Martin Scorsese is upset about Marvel movies? Downey asked Sam. Downey isn't the only Marvel Cinematic Universe actor to comment on Scorsese's thoughts. Samuel L. Jackson, who has played S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury since the post-credit scenes of the original Iron Man, said Scorsese's comments were like saying, Bugs Bunny ain't funny. It was quite a few things that happened with this. James Gunn also responded.
Oh, God.
And so he said, Martin Scorsese is like one of my 5 favorite living filmmakers. I was outraged when people picketed The Last Temptation of Christ without having seen the film. I'm saddened that he's now judging my films in the same way, because literally he is. If you haven't
because he
seen
didn't
them,
watch it.
and now you want to... How can you say you didn't watch something and then make this broad stroke judgment about it? Saying that they don't have all these emotions and shit conveyed in them. It's like, had you seen something, you would have known that they would. But then, of course, the Jennifer Aniston thing, because she made a comment about it, which you already know. And what is this? She said, you're seeing what's available out there, and it's just diminishing in terms of it's big Marvel movies, Aniston told Variety, or things that I'm not just asked to do, or really that interested in living in a green screen. No, girl, it was the first one. They ain't asking you.
It sounds like, because like when I was reading about this, it sounds like she was more upset to me that she's not in them.
Yeah.
And
people were making fun because they were saying that Brad Pitt was in one Marvel movie. I mean, it was only a quick cameo.
Yeah, that's really
quick.
And
then now
Angelina
Jolie is in a Marvel movie. She's like just done with him.
And she's over here talking about, I miss the Meg Ryan movies. You are the only person, Jennifer. Ain't nobody crying about no Meg Ryan movie, bitch. I can tell you right now.
No.
I like Meg Ryan, don't get me wrong. But I'm not sitting here, you know what? Where is Meg Ryan?
Where is Megan?
Where is she? Somebody find Megan. No.
No, here's my issue. Marvel movies. Let's say on a good year for Marvel, we have 3 Marvel movies.
True.
There are hundreds of movies that come out a year. Marvel movies have not stopped other movies from coming out. Bitch, you aren't seeing them. You can't get mad that everybody's going to see these movies that they prefer, because every other movie is still being made. If you're not taking your ass into the theaters to go see them, they're not going to get any viable importance. If you're not talking about them, I ain't seen you discuss a movie that ain't Marvel. So it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, and it's not just her. It's most people that say that Marvel has taken over and is pushing out all the smaller movies, but it has not. Marvel puts out 3 to 4 movies a year, sometimes 1, and it hurts my heart when they do the 1. But to say that those 3 movies out of the fucking year are the only movies that are playing, and it's just taking over the cinema. No, bitch. All these movies are still playing. We see trailers for them. We see them alongside when like Grace does her box office breakdown. Yeah. She shows the movies too. Now, those movies are not making as much money as Marvel is, but those movies are also not putting in as much money as Marvel is. So like, whereas a Meg Ryan movie would take $5 million to make, there is not a movie Marvel could do. That would take $5 million, especially where they are now.
You know, and we can't put that on Marvel. And I would just be very honest here. I do like romantic comedies and dramas and other types of movies other than action, adventure, which is what Marvel is. Yeah. I like those movies, but I can tell you right now, I don't spend a dime on a movie ticket to see it. Yeah. I didn't do that back in the 90s. I didn't do that in the early 2000s. And I ain't doing that now. I'm not interested in going in a movie theater and watching a sad-ass, sappy rom-com.
Yeah.
I'd rather sit in my house with some ice cream and watch it, and if I want to have a good old boohoo session, at least I'm by myself. Or if I'm with Kenny, at least we can talk shit about it and you can talk about whatever is fucked up and whatever. Like, I'm a huge Jennifer Aniston fan, and she's known for rom-coms and comedies. One of my favorite movies,
I love her in Horrible Bosses.
Is, of course, I love Horrible Bosses. I love what is it, The Switch?
Yes.
And I love that, and I love what is The Breakup. All got Jennifer Aniston in it. All rom-coms. all great. Well, except for Horrible Bosses. It's not a rom-com.
No, it is not. Nothing romantic about it. No scene in there.
But I love all those movies. But I can tell you right now, I didn't go to the theater to see a single one of them.
And I've always made it a point. I don't go to the theater to see movies like that. For me, because movies cost so much now. They don't have to, but the way that we have formulated them to be, not saying like we as a society, but like you, me, and Aaron.
Yeah.
We go to the movies and it's an event. So we tend to not want to go to like a regular Harkins and just sit up in the back-breaking seats they got. We go to dine-in theaters. And you go to the dine-in theaters, you don't have to choose to buy food, but because it is an event, we're like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and give me some food here.
Give me like adult beverage.
Yeah, sit up in this comfortable ass seat, watch this movie. The one that we go to specifically is so... what is the word I'm looking for? Because they do their own thing. Like, they go through and they get their own trailers for the movies.
They're, like, exclusive.
Yeah.
Because they do have, like... the people they'll get people who are actually acting in the movie to be like no texting or they'll come and drop kick you in the face or some shit like that.
They do a lot of that kind of stuff and it's just a very nice experience. Also,
especially when you're watching Marvel movies or any type of comic book movie, because like you like to go to that particular movie theater early just so
because
you can
they
give you like a good rundown of the history.
They give you a rundown of the history, and for like people like Kimo who is not really into comics but he loves the characters. He's going to do his research anyway, but this helps a bit to see them break it down for you in like little bite-sized pieces. But going to like a regular movie theater, you go in there early, you just gonna watch a bunch of bullshit you want to see. Like these,
those trivia.
Yeah, that trivia bullshit. This is giving you like trivia questions. All I was doing is just running down like a Spider-Man movie. When Spider-Man came out, they went back to how it started.
Like vlogs.
Yeah.
Like somebody on there like, okay, well, this is how Spider-Man started, and this is how I got to this point, this is how I got to that point.
And tells you about these different characters, his enemies, and it's just a really nice experience from start to fucking finish in that movie theater. Added bonus, children under 3 aren't allowed. So I ain't gotta hear about crying babies. And I don't like children. It's not a secret to anybody.
It's rare to even see a kid, period, in there, to be honest.
I think people just be scared.
Please, continue to be scared.
But it's become an experience for us that we go and it's typically for a Marvel movie or some really big superhero movie or something like that, because those are the ones you're gonna get the bang for your buck for. I don't need surround sound for a rom-com. I need surround sound for a good action adventure situation when people getting their ass up to the left and the right and front and center. Like, I need that for that.
Get that ass whooped. Okay, so let me see. What do I want to talk about? I don't know.
Since your Jennifer Aniston situation.
Yeah, since we got that topic out of the way.
I mean, because mine was, like I said, I put Marvel versus Martin Scorsese versus Marvel because so many people came out. There are more people than what I touched on.
I just got on the tail end of it because of the Jennifer Aniston. I'm
she was the last thing I added.
Yeah, because I'm gonna talk about this one. So there had been a hashtag going around on Twitter, Free Lorde. Have you seen that?
What the fuck is wrong with her? Lorde as in the singer Lorde?
Yeah.
Okay. Because when you say Lorde, I think of 3 people. Either the singer Lorde, Billy Lorde. Or Jesus Christ.
So apparently in New Zealand, which is where she's from, the country's national party is trying to implement a new policy that will penalize parents of children who dropped out of school with a $3,000 fine.
What? Like, starting when it passes, or they're going back to people?
I'm assuming that, if she's being a part of it, they would be, like, going back.
So I'm assuming she dropped out.
Yeah, she didn't finish school. So, apparently, Lorde has refused to even attempt to even think about paying this fine.
I mean, I wouldn't
either. Which I don't blame her.
So I'm assuming that they want to find the parents because I don't know if it's in the article or whatever, but they want to find the parents because they're saying that this is a detriment to the child if they're not in school or whatever, or you just allow them to drop out. I'm like, I can understand that, but at the same time, Lorde is making money.
Yeah, so she has a whole career.
It wasn't a detriment to her. It's not a detriment to a lot of these celebrities that didn't finish school. So while you can maybe think of another way to make school more interesting, make school actually teach things that are relevant to the life and day that we're living in now. So I'm making people learn astrophysics if they're not trying to be an astrophysicist. I don't understand that.
I mean, if you've already accomplished what you're going to do and didn't need to finish school, I don't see the need.
Yeah.
But this spawned a whole bunch of memes and tweets, and so here's a couple of them. It's like, Lorde rides the subway because New Zealand government suspended her license until she pays her fine. Free Lorde! Lorde saved us in the music industry with melodrama. It is our turn to save Lorde. Free Lorde!
Is she trapped there?
She's not in jail.
So I'm just like, why are they saying free Lorde?
God. Locals finding out Lorde is going to jail. Free Lorde! Me distracting the guards so Lorde can sneak out of prison. Free Lorde!
This is so extra. So I'm like, did she get locked up? She said, I refuse to pay. And they said, well, bitch, refuse to leave. My bad.
So, I mean, that's just pretty much the gist of it. A lot of people, I think, actually thinks that she went to jail. I'm not sure. She hasn't gone to jail, and I'm pretty sure she's not in danger of going to jail. I think it's more of just a Twitter craze at this moment.
It's really, I just don't like the fact that they think they need to fine parents for this, because what is that going to solve?
Well, you know, here in the United States, you go to jail.
For what?
If your child is not in school.
For dropping out?
Yeah.
Child, my brother dropped out. My mother's not in jail.
Yeah, nobody must have known.
I mean, they must not care when he was gone.
Tennessee, like, the first thing my mom would be like, you better go to school. I ain't trying to go to jail.
I've never heard that in my life.
Maybe that's a Tennessee thing. I don't know.
Maybe it is. I mean, we can probably look it up, but
yeah. But
I've never heard, anywhere that I've lived or anybody that I've known that has dropped out of school, anything about you getting snatched up and hauled off to jail.
In Tennessee, no. They don't play none of them games. You will go to jail.
Even that I don't understand.
Because they feel like it's the parents' responsibility to make sure their child gets education.
That's all fine and dandy. But once you get in high school,
I don't know why you need to go to jail for it, though.
Yeah, like a jail or a fine. Now, something can be said for find a way to keep these kids in school.
Well, I'm pretty sure once they get to a certain age, maybe not. I don't know, the complete logistics of it.
Now, I can see if you're like 10-year-old.
Then you need to go to school.
Okay, bitch.
I think maybe once you get to like 16 or 17, they're probably like, okay, well,
this is a grown ass man.
Yeah, if you don't want to go to school. But my mama was very much, because in my 12th grade year, I started skipping school and being a rebel. And
she was like,
my mama was
I ain't going to jail.
Like, take your ass to school.
That is ridiculous to me. I still don't think. I don't think you should go to jail or there should be a fine. But maybe something needs to happen. Like if you're a middle schooler and that's happening. But as far as like high school goes, because when did they say this fine was going to be for? Like how far were they going back? If they even said in that article for Lorde.
They didn't say in that article. They were just talking about, the $3,000 fine.
Again, what is that going to solve, though? What is this doing?
It doesn't solve anything. I just feel like
money.
they want money. That's just my opinion. I feel like all they want is money.
They were sitting in the room like, we need more money. How do we get it? And they were like, kids drop out.
It's just like when we were talking about, what was it, the dude that sued his wife or the dude that had an affair with his wife.
No, we were watching The View, and they were talking about it because the dude his wife had an affair. No, was it? Yeah, his wife had an affair, and he sued the man.
He sued the man for like millions of dollars, right?
Millions.
And I was just like, to me, I was like, but what does that money do for you? It doesn't get you your relationship back. So at that point, you just want money.
Because his reasoning was that he broke up a happy home. And I kept on saying, how happy was it if she was going out sleeping with him? She wasn't too thrilled,
whether
bitch.
Whether was happy or not, whether she was quote unquote happy as far as he was concerned, and that he just showed her the dick, and she was like, I cannot resist. And but whether or not this money doesn't fix anything.
It doesn't.
You getting money for something that's not monetary. I mean, marriage and love and all of that, that's not monetary.
Maybe he wasn't even trying to get money at first, and somebody told him, you can get money off of this.
And he
looked at the law books and said, how much?
Well, I mean, if they just throwing it away at you,
Right? I need to move here. Go ahead.
I need to go and find me somebody and then get them to fuck my marriage up.
Like, Aaron, go mess with that man, Aaron. I'll go ahead and sue him real quick. the best scam. You're running scams all through. What? I don't even remember what city or state that was.
Wasn't it North Carolina?
It was North Carolina. I need to move to North Carolina and start scamming bitches. Be a quick millionaire. I have 2 other things, possibly 3. I don't know what this third one is though. So I'm gonna show you this one first because it's so fucking disgusting.
Oh God.
So have you heard of a? No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna play it for you. Hold on. I have to take my headphone out though.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it up. Y'all not gonna know what's going on in it, because you have to really see this to believe.
Well, maybe we'll post a link. Is there a link?
There is a link. I can post it.
Okay, we'll post it on the thing.
Is it playing on this? Okay, just watch this. Just wait till you realize what's going on.
I'm so confused. Did she shoot herself? Oh my God! What is happening? What did these children eat?
Just wait.
Kitty. She is crying. Is it burning?
So I was looking as it's playing.
Is she pulling her pennies out? What is happening?
So this happened at a school, and shit went down. Somebody was getting bullied.
Oh my God!
Somebody was getting bullied and put horse laxatives.
And everybody's food?
They put it in the lemonade, and so whoever got lemonade.
How they get away with putting it in the lemonade? So these people are shitting in the urinals, in the sinks, in the trash. Child, I would clock out and leave. I would not be no good to these students.
No good.
This dude is shitting in the water fountain. Oh my God. Kenny. Why? This is still going on.
Because they just showing everybody that they found these puddles of shit next to themselves. Okay.
This is.
So I'm just scrolling down Twitter, minding my business.
You sure? You didn't mind your business enough.
I was scrolling down Twitter, minding my business, right? And I saw I don't know if it's on the video that I recorded. It's not. But I saw something of somebody saying, they essentially just spelled out what happened. They said this kid was getting bullied, so he put I keep wanting to say tranquilizers, laxatives in the lemonade. And he was like, good for them. And I was like,
for the whole school?
Child.
The whole school didn't bully him?
They did it. But so I clicked the video and I was like, child, this must be terrible. So I'm looking at the video and it was just chaos. As Chemo was saying, as y'all heard him reacting, they were shitting on walls, they were shitting in trash cans, urinals, the water fountains, the floor. Just whatever it could come out is what's gonna have to come out.
Just watch that girl pull out her panties right there. Girl, throw them out.
So as I'm watching this, I was like, this cannot be true. Because how the fuck is this happening? I ain't seen not a news source. Because this is
where did this happen at? Did it say?
I didn't see it. But you know what it is? It's a TV show.
Oh, that's not real? Mm-mm. Okay. That looked real.
So I went and found, because I'm a researching bitch.
Yeah.
I was digging for a good hour looking for what the hell this is. But so it's a show called American Vandal. It's on Netflix. And
my brother watches that.
So season 2.
He says it's good.
That was a clip from the first episode of season 2. The season 2 was about this kid who, the story I guess is true. I guess he was bullied or whatever, but he was going around and he was just like doing different things in the school to like fuck with people, and this is just one of the things. Like I said, this was the first episode. The way that American Vandal is shot, which makes me interested, so I want to watch it. Both the first and this one, it's shot as if this is a real situation. It's like a mockumentary, I think they call it. So they have the people like recording him and the whole background shit, whatever the hell it is, but. It's shot so well. The thing that lets you know off bat that it's not serious though, or that it's not real, is that the name of the dude who did the little laxative prank he named himself the Turd Burglar.
Oh, good God.
I saw that, which is
The
dumb.
Turd Burglar.
I think this video that I have is the trailer for it. I'm assuming that's what this is.
That's
Okay.
Monday, November 6th. It was really just a normal day. I don't know how else to describe it. It was Chicken Finger Monday.
Those things are damn good.
Really into that lunch, I knew something was off.
It didn't really hit me right away. And then it really hit me.
The lemonade was contaminated.
911.
All of our students, they're all pooping.
They're all pooping.
Most of us just shit our pants right in front of everyone.
People were just trying to find a place where they could shit.
This was the worst thing I've seen in 20 years.
Before it was all over, we had a name.
We'll drop out.
I don't know.
In April 2016, Sam Eklund and I began shooting American Vandal. The response has been incredible.
But
with all this
I haven't watched it yet, but I feel like just based off of the is it still called cinematography for TV shows?
Yeah.
It's still categorized the same?
Yeah.
So the cinematography of it, the way that it's shot looks really good to me, so I do want to watch it. It's just crazy to me that it got my attention based off of that shitting situation on Twitter. And a lot of people in the comments not knowing that it was real or fake. Because, that's something that I try my best not to do. I try not to look at things and just go based off of them not knowing if it's real or not. Like, I try to look into it a little bit further. But there are a lot of people who are like, I guess this is better than guns. And I was like, I may rather you come shoot me.
Shit like that.
Yeah, because I don't know what the real life ramifications are for taking a horse laxative as a human. But if it's like making you almost instantaneously start explosive diarrhea across the damn floor, like, and then the one dude was throwing up, and I'm just like, that can't be good for your insides. So I would just rather, bitch, if I bullied you, please pull the trigger. Don't do this to me.
Then take me to the hospital. Pull the plug.
Bitch, matter of fact, don't even plug it in. Keep it unplugged.
Oh, God. I have one last topic, and then we can talk about Joker if you don't have anything else.
I just have one quick thing after that.
Okay. So, I don't know if you heard. You probably have. A lot of people have been talking about, especially people of the black community. Tyler Perry.
Yeah, I
built,
figured you were going to do this, so I left it alone.
He's built a studio, a film studio, from a former Confederate Army base, which everybody's like, oh, this is poetic justice.
Yeah.
So beautiful or whatever. Which is about the same thing they did with the college I went to. I went to Russ College, and it was built on a slave trade ground. Mm-hmm. Which, everybody swears they still see slaves and blah, 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 whatever.
Like ghosts?
Yeah, I never saw one. But people say...
Just got slaves working in the field, hiding.
I've never seen one, but I'm just like, okay, if y'all say it, I believe it, whatever.
Let me just state my answer.
So, I mean, it is the biggest film studio ever built.
I watched the video of the girl that was like riding around, showcasing it. I was like, this is a big ass studio.
It's 330 acres. And I think it has 12 sound stages, and each sound stage is named after a iconic black person.
I know Whoopi Goldberg has one.
Yeah,
They're talking about it on The View.
Oprah has one also.
I knew she was. She was at the little party for it, wasn't she?
Yeah, which a lot of people were. It was a huge thing.
Sunny Hostin was there with her husband. First of all, Sunny Hostin was on, I don't know if you saw the invitations that he was sending, Tyler Perry.
No, I didn't see it.
Sunny Hostin had went on to the Jimmy Kimmel show, and they were showcasing the invitation. It was so motherfucking extra. It was inside this like gold framed or foiled box, and then you take it out, and it's like a tablet or something that plays a video of him like inviting you personally. So he'd be like, you take out this box and you turn it on, he'd be like, hey Kimo, it's Tyler Perry. Like that kind of situation.
Imagine how many times he had to record that.
Right?
You are dedicated.
So he would do that, and then he'd be like, I'm just inviting you and blah, 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 if you have a +1. I'm inviting you to Tyler Perry Studios to come see the luxury and blah, 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 whatever he said in it. But Sunny was telling Jimmy about it. She was like, explaining. She was like, yeah, he sent this to everybody. He was like, oh, yeah, I got one too. And she was like, did you? No, he said, he was like, mine was just like this too. And she was like, did he?
You sure?
And he was like, yeah. And she wasn't believing him. And so he had said it again. He was like, yeah, I got the invitation. She was like, so why didn't you come? And he was like, I didn't need you to put me on blast, bro.
Why you say you got an invitation?
Right, you should have shut your mouth.
You just said, you know what, that looked like fun. Wish my white ass could have come.
I was shocked that he got invited. I didn't know that he and I guess most of the people I didn't know that he like actually had like relationships with Tyler. I didn't know he had any relationship with Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel's got a lot of relationships with a lot of people. He seems to be very
he's
popular.
branched out, especially in the masses.
But he was getting interviewed by Gail, and I watched the interview.
Gail King.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
Of course, win.
And there was like one thing that stuck out, which didn't really have to do with the studio, but he was talking about his son, and he was like,
he had kids.
oh, he has just one son. His son, I think, is like 4, I believe. Don't quote me, but I
was
think
about to look him up. I thought this was going to be like a grown-ass child.
No,
because usually when I don't know a celebrity has a kid, that kid is an adult.
No. He recently had this child not too long ago, and he was talking about having to discipline him, and I guess how it was hard for him to do it. And so he was talking about how he was doing that. And his son was like, you know, saying, I'm sorry, because he was acting up with the nanny or something, some bullshit. And so he was like having that talk with him. He was like, you know, you don't need to be acting like this. You know, that type of stuff. And then he's like, and he said he ran out of the room before he started crying while talking to him, because he was like, he realized that nobody had ever talked to him like a person as a child. He said nobody had ever talked to him like a human being. And so that's what he's saying. And like he says, every day his son is healing him. He says, every time I talk to him, every time I hug him, every time I love him, let him know he's special, there's something in me that's being healed. And it touched him because he was literally in tears.
I mean,
saying this.
That what he's saying is like 100% fucking true. And it's very prevalent in the black community where adults don't respect children. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that you need to do like things that you would do for another adult for a child, but at the same time, instead of slapping a child in the face when they do something wrong, explain to them why what they did was wrong. Because now they're not learning to not do that thing. They're learning to do it and not get caught. They're learning to be afraid of getting hit for doing that. So they're going to wait till you're not around. So like it doesn't really change anything. Now, some people, of course, there are always exceptions to the rule. There are some people who, like myself, if I did something my mom whipped me for, I'd be like, okay, well, we're not going to do that again. Regardless if you see it or not. But there are other people who, like I said, will just stick around and do it. So it's not really changing anything. Or they'll lash out and take that out on somebody else. So while you whipping them at home, they're going home and bullying somebody, or going to school and bullying somebody. So it doesn't really solve anything most of the time. This makes me think though about there was a video that I just saw on Twitter of this woman that the caption was I know every black person can relate to this or look at this and know exactly what's going on without the audio. So I was watching it and instantly because it's a woman standing over a kid. He has on a school uniform, he's looking down at a piece of notepaper, and so I already knew he was doing his homework. And instead of talking to him through this, she's yelling at him. So I turned the audio on, and I don't know how it got to this point, but she had said something about what comes after 10. And so as she's screaming it, he's like counting on his finger. She was like, fuck this finger shit. What the fuck come after 10? And so then he's sitting there, even more nervous and confused. And I think he says, like, he finally says 11. And she's like, God, and like turns around, but the girl recording it, I'm assuming it's like maybe a daughter or something, starts like giggling and laughing. And I'm like, nothing about this is funny.
Nothing was funny about
Nothing's
that.
funny about this. And I remember even my own personal history with my mom. My mom would do shit like that. And I had to stop her from doing it with Lamar. Because when I was younger, my mom would, I remember her with me and my brother. We'd be sitting there and they're coming, it's usually always math. It's always an issue. But it'd be a math problem. And of course, as a fucking child in like elementary school, certain math problems as you're learning it are not going to connect. So while you, as an adult, know this is easy, I don't. I didn't have 30 fucking years of experience to learn this bitch. So me sitting here and you're like, what comes after 10? And me being confused because I'm just not learning something new is not a foreign concept. No. So for you, like, no matter how much you slap, and I remember sitting at the table crying sometimes because I could not get whatever she wanted me to, and I was scared that if I don't say the right answer, that I'm gonna get hit or something. So you don't say anything at all. So you just sit there until you are damn sure of what you're about to say. And so, like I said, I grew up with that. Of course, I've never treated any other child that way. But I remember one day I was over my mom's house, and Lamar was going through some schoolwork. Because usually I used to help him. When he would come over, I would just help him do it or whatever. But I had saw her, and she was like yelling at him about whatever one of the questions was. I was like, Mom, this doesn't solve anything. And then she was like, what you talking about? And I was like, you did this to me and Cordell. Of course, you denied it.
Yeah, of course you did, because
Black
they do.
Black parents need to forget the abuse they put you through.
Yeah.
But and I'm not saying this to say that my mom is a bad parent. I'm not. That parenting skill is terrible.
Yeah.
My mother's not a bad parent.
But that's something that's passed down.
Yeah, that's something that she got from her mother. Her mother probably got it from her mother. And it's going to keep on going until somebody stops it.
Yeah.
So I told my mom what she was doing. Like, Mom, this doesn't solve anything. You did this to me and my brother. And yes, we were able to get to it eventually. But I hate math now. I can't stand it. Don't want nothing to do with it. Now, does it have anything to do? Is it directly connected to how I was treated when I was learning it, or trying to do homework for it? Maybe, maybe not. But my thing is, it's you getting upset about this is not servicing anybody. Yeah. It's not helping you because you getting mad for nothing, and now you got the boy scared of shit and crying. Yeah. So instead of that, try to find another way to explain to him how to get to 11. So just go, okay, you got 5 on this hand, 5 on this hand. One more comes after that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then once he says it, you go on. Or whatever the math problem is. I'm just using now because that's what was in the video. Yeah. But it just bothers me and irritates me so much anytime I see a situation like that. Instead of talking to a kid and explaining why something is wrong or explaining how to do something, so many black parents go to hitting, slapping, kicking sometimes, or I never got kicked. Let me put that out there. My mother has never done that. But
it does
that
happen.
Is something that happens. Yeah. People, like, whatever punishment they want to do. They want to go grab a shoe, a belt, a pot, whatever it is. It does not service anything, but it keeps being pushed down. And one thing that irritated me in the comments of that video were certain people being like, essentially having like PTSD flashbacks about the situation, but then want to also end it with, oh, but those are fun times. It was fun. I grew up right. It was like, who was it fun to? It wasn't fun at the time, bitch.
Luckily, my mother, my mother. My mother is not the most patient woman in the world, but when it came to education, I say she was very patient about that. She never did that. But granted, I knew my timetables and all this stuff before I even went to kindergarten. And my mama taught me all of that because my mama was very big on education. And she was very big on, okay, we need to do what we learn. But also, granted, when it comes to math, my mama didn't know a lot of it. My mama went to school in the country. Math was arithmetic when she was in school. There was no algebra. There was no geometry. They just took arithmetic. So a lot of the math, she didn't know it. So when it came to the time when we were getting some more advanced math and she needed to help us, she had to learn it too. And so it was like we were learning together, you know.
I mean, and some of that stuff you like honestly forget. Like some of the stuff that I would help Lamar with, I would look at the questions and I'd be like, child. Which
can also happen.
I was like, what is this?
But, you know, my mom was always like, this. Y'all are always going to be more advanced than me. You know, she always said that. But that's also what she always wanted. She always wanted us to be smarter. She always wanted us to do more. So she was very big on us being educated. And so she was never... You know, the only time she became nasty about education is if you were not doing your work. Yeah. Then she get pissed. But for the most, me and my brother are both straight A students, and that's because she instilled us in it. And I think that's a difference to me, because when you have parents that are yelling at you, you're not as excited about learning.
Exactly.
You know?
I'm like, I'm getting beat up if I don't learn it right. So let me.
And strangely enough, I hated school, but I loved to learn. And I think that's because my mama instilled that in me from, I think the farthest I can remember is 3 years old. And I was at that time loving to learn. So I know that that's something my mama basically did from birth, I'm sure.
I love to learn as long as something I care about.
Yeah.
So that's why I say when we were talking about teachers or whatever earlier, or like going to school or dropping out of school. Yeah. I was like, if we give more curriculum that is relevant to today's society,
I feel like
it would be better.
You learn a lot of shit you don't need.
Exactly. There's so much shit in school that you don't need. Now, I feel like it would be great if there was a process of, I mean, this is making people decide their futures too early, but if you'd be like, okay, well, do you have an interest in anything?
Well, to be very
honest,
see if we
can set up something for you.
Most kids know what they're interested in at an early age, to be very honest. The only reason a lot of them don't pursue a lot of things that they want to do is because people talk them out of it.
Yeah.
And tell them, oh, that's a dead end, or nothing's ever going to happen with that. But a lot of kids know at a young age, ooh, I'm interested in art. Ooh, I'm interested in being a scientist. Ooh, I'm interested in math. They know. And if people were a little bit more supportive to children, and they would be able to forego the things they are really interested in. Yeah. The thing is, people are not supportive because they expect kids to not know shit. And that's just the thing. People don't trust that kids understand. And I think that's the biggest issue. And so I think that brings to the last thing about Tyler Perry, because also on in the complex, he said he is building a compound for trafficked women, girls, and homeless women, LGBTQ youth who are put out and displaced somewhere on these 330 acres of land. He said where they'll be trained in the business and they become self-sufficient. They will live in nice apartments. There will be a daycare.
Tell me go over there. I am misplaced as hell.
He said there will be all of these wonderful things that will allow them to re-enter society and then pay it forward again. I'm really interested in him being able to teach them the business.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. At least they can have something to look forward to other than just being housed in the projects, on welfare. So at least they can be self-sufficient and take care of themselves, learn a trade, and get into it.
What confused me for the first time when I saw the story of him having the the movie studio or lot, whatever it's called, I was like, does he make movies that do that well? And I was not trying to. Money. I am not trying. That was not me trying to shade him.
Yeah.
I don't know a movie for Tyler Perry outside of Medea, and I mean I know Medea does well, but the size of his lot
is huge.
Was like a Disney size lot.
Think of all of the he does all those plays. He does all those movies. He doesn't just do Medea movies. He does other movies too. He also does a bunch of TV shows.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, he's got his hand on a lot of pots. So I mean, he would have to have money come from somewhere to have the biggest studio. You know.
Because that made me. I didn't look it up, but it made me think of like, what does Disney studio lot look like?
It's bigger than Disney's, from what people say.
Disney better step it up, bitch.
Well, I mean, I also think Disney's lot is also old as fuck. It's the same one. It hasn't changed. So I feel like...
Do they even shoot there often?
At their lot?
Yeah. I feel like most of the time we know about them shooting there. And like for, let's say, Avengers, not Endgame, but what's the first one? Avengers...
The very first Avengers?
No, the first for part 1 and part 2. Avengers Endgame. Infinity War. For Infinity War, I remember them talking about they were in all these different cities and different countries across the world filming. So I was just like, okay, you have this lot, but
the thing is, a lot of the stuff, I mean, the lot is for this inside the studio. I mean, they film on location. Stuff. Yeah. They do a lot of filming on location.
And then that brings me to my next question. So, what is Tyler Perry filming in green screen?
Well, I mean, studio lots are also for when they build sets.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So, like when they need... So, instead of going to this location, let's build a set that looks like this location.
Yeah, like a lot of TV shows are built on set.
Yeah, definitely the child. I thought for the longest time, going back to like Love and Marriage, I think is the name of it. Is that what it is? With Al and Peggy?
Oh, yeah.
I remember I thought they were in like an actual house, and I never even thought about it much for any other show like Girlfriends or Friends when I've seen certain episodes or Will and Grace. I never thought for a second that they were in like an actual apartment or an actual house. But like, not to say that I didn't think it either, but it was just it was not a thought.
Yeah.
For some reason, Love and Marriage, I was like, oh, these people are in a house, and then I saw like some behind the scenes shit, and I was like, this is cardboard. This is plywood.
Oh my god. I want to be on a sitcom so bad. What I really want to do, and I was thinking about this this morning, just because I was watching Disenchantment, and what's his name, John DiMaggio. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. He is in like so many different cartoons, and I'm like, you know what? Voice actors get work. Can I become a voice actor?
And sit up here with this microphone and chit chat away, do your lines, send it to them.
Where can I apply for that? Is it on Indeed?
We can see.
I really would love to get into voice acting. I think I have a very charismatic voice.
I would love to do voice acting, but I need it to be a dramatic role. It couldn't be no like just regular everyday somebody talking. I want to scream. I want to shout.
So I want to do whatever they'll pay me for. Y'all need me to talk about some shampoo? I will do it.
Get them commercial royalties.
So please.
Or
be like, what is it? The boy that sang, okay, I don't know his real name, but he was on Smart Guy, the older brother.
I was about to say Taj Mowry, but that's not.
No, that's the younger brother.
Yeah.
The older brother, the dark skin
The
one.
dark skin, yeah.
He did sing for the original Simba. He didn't talk for him. A white kid talked for him. I can't remember his name, but he sang for him. And
What's the something about? You said for the younger Simba or older?
For the younger Simba.
For the younger Simba, that sounds weird to me because I felt that Simba sounded the same when he sang and when he talked. Like I didn't notice a difference. Usually I can notice a difference between pitches and tones when you have somebody that's talking and then they throw somebody else in for the singer. But to me, I haven't seen Lion King in a long time.
Yeah.
But from what I remember thinking they sounded.
I feel like
it
they
was the same
probably just
person.
made sure they sounded pretty similar.
Or
but,
edited.
But as far as that, like they got him to sing it, and they offered him $2 million originally. He turned down the $2 million and instead said, "Okay, just give me royalties." Boy has made so much more money off of royalties.
I'm sure.
That was for him to be so young and
To
to be
know
able
that?
to make that decision, be like, you know what, I'll take royalties.
I mean, people sleep on royalties.
Well, the thing is, you didn't know at that time. You didn't know that it was going to be a hit. You didn't know these songs were going to be something that people are going to be listening to 20 years down the line.
Yeah, but royalties will pay you if you could get on a show like a sitcom. Let's say,
Yeah.
like if we were ever on Will and Grace and we just had like maybe 2 episodes we were in, like the actual roles, not just in the background singing, because you ain't getting royalties in the background. But if you just on, like if you had like maybe 2-3 lines up in there, you're getting royalties for if that was in your contract. You're getting royalties for those 2-3 episodes. Will and Grace plays in syndication, so you are getting money for the rest of your motherfucking life.
I need to do like Mariah Carey, record a good old staple Merry Christmas song and have it get downloaded every year.
My last story though, like I said, is really quick, and then we can get into
Joker.
I couldn't think of that name. But so another situation about somebody versus somebody else. There's some animal activists going at Lil Kim.
Okay.
What irritated me about this is that the people say, I'll play it for you first, then I'll tell you what my irritation about it.
Okay.
Did I put my headphone back in? Where is my AirPod, y'all? Where'd it go?
Where'd you put it?
I thought I put it. You know what? Hold on.
Is it gonna play?
It's gonna play. I just know what my headphone was.
I mean, we can find it. It can't be
there
too
it
far.
It was between my legs.
Your leg.
Everything seems to venture. Let me turn off the screen rotation. Okay.
Animals get electrocuted! Vaginally electrocuted! Little kids, stop wearing fur! Stop wearing fur!
Oh my God.
Stop wearing fur! Stop wearing fur! Shame on you! Shame on you! Let's go to the voice, too! They don't give a shame on you for wearing fur! Stop wearing fur! I bless you!
Lil Kim started walking out.
Back up. That bitch got back. Is she even wearing fur?
No.
Okay.
They get anally electrocuted. Stop wearing fur.
They get anally electrocuted.
Come on, we can anally electrocute her.
Animals scream. Shame on you.
We got fans trying to get an autograph. Can't even do too many of them because they're trying to rush in here. Everything's crazy.
Didn't her album just come out?
I think so, yeah.
Can I get this wig, girl?
That was essentially it. She goes in there and that's that. Okay. But what irritated me about it, like you asked, was she even wearing fur? She didn't have a stitch of fur on her. Now, I understand if she came up in here, she on a full... Well, I wouldn't understand it either, because mind your business. But she on a full... Like train length fucking fur coat.
All mink.
Right.
Chinchilla. You don't know how many chinchillas will have to die.
Right? They're gonna be extinct. But if she was doing some shit like that, but she had on like no fur at all. She barely had on a jacket. The jacket she had on was like cropped up to her titty.
Yeah.
But the woman comes screaming at her and yelling and doing all this other shit. And I'm just like, who do you think you're convincing to see your point of view by yelling like this? Especially when you come yelling at them, and luckily they didn't do the bullshit they normally do. I'm assuming she's in New York. In New York, where they throwing blood on bitches or not blood, but like red paint. I mean, regardless. Don't throw shit on what I bought.
No, because child, either you gonna pay me or you gonna take this ass whooping. Because my thing is, because it makes me think of Second City when Samantha comes out of this and she gets
like,
I miss New York. No, bitch, I would have snatched that bitch up. Because no, do you know how much money I paid for this? Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And this could have been faux. You don't know.
Yeah. Because to me, which is why I don't see myself ever really needing to buy fur or getting. I do have a real a real fur, like, what is it, stole? Because one of our friends had sent it to me. Her grandmother had passed away, and she was going through all the stuff, and she was like, she thought of me, and I was like, sweet, but I don't know, give me your grandma's shit. But she sent it to me, and I kept it in there. I used it for like a shoot or two, but I just kept it in there because it's really nice. But my thing is, I can't look at that and then see the faux fur stuff that I have and see a huge difference.
There's not a difference. Not that I can see.
My thing is, so what if, like, we'll go back to Samantha, if she was a real character or a real person walking down the street and she on the faux red fur coat or white fur coat, and you open her mouth, so stop wearing fur and you throw it on her. And I'm like, okay, bitch, this was $20. Regardless of that fact, I'm about to beat your ass.
It doesn't matter. Even a nice faux fur coat can be expensive.
It can.
So,
but I'm just saying, regardless of how much I pay for, regardless if it's real or fake, don't fuck my shit up. There's other ways to have a discussion about what happens to animals because it's terrible.
No, we're not. First of all, don't have a discussion about a goddamn thing. Let me tell you that. Okay, I don't come to you and talk about you with the tragic sweater you got out of some casual corner. And you know, the sheep that probably died for that shit. Don't come to me talking about my shit. You know, that's me. You know,
for me, there's a conversation to be had about fake fur and real fur and how there's not a difference. You have that conversation
with yourself. You don't wear fur. You know, and I to be honest, I'm not condoning it. I don't own any fur. I have never owned fur. I don't really care to own fur. But, you know,
so bougie and I love it.
But I don't even have faux fur. Not to say that I don't want it. I might one day get it. But as of right now, today, I don't have it. But the thing is what I choose to do with my money and put on my motherfucking body, bitch, ain't got shit to do with you. If I decide to skin your mama and put her on, that might have something to do with you, girl. But if you bold enough to come do something about it, you know, no, like I said, I don't own any leather. I don't have any of that stuff. The thing is that
I mean, she could have had leather on.
She could have.
Girl, that's the wrong. You was screaming fur.
She's screaming fur. But the thing is, you standing outside screaming at people ain't changing nobody's mind.
Not at all.
Ain't changed nobody's mind. Now, if you want to preach awareness, you know what? Start a website. You know, do something. Talk about the issues. Talk about why it's wrong. Blah, 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 blah. You know, me personally, I feel that if, say for instance, we slaughtered a cow to make a burger. Now, if we so choose to use that skin off that cow to make leather, at least we're repurposing something that's already dead.
See, that's the thought process I come from as well.
To murder an animal simply to wear, I'm not really down for that.
And that's what they do. They murder an animal simply to wear, and then they'll go murder another one to get the meat.
Yeah. And
it's just like, okay, there are some things, a few steps that we could be solving if we just left this alone.
I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not any of that. You know, I eat my meats, and you know, if a bitch got something to say about it, you know what? Meet me in the back, because I'm not here to discuss what I do with nobody. I feel like Lil Kim don't need to discuss what she do with nobody, just like that bitch shouting what she ain't got to discuss what she do. You know, bitch, you don't wear fur.
But
That's
her
my
shouting
thing.
is so. again, if you want to talk about something, but you're not going to change any minds. You're not going to even get anybody's attention because. So let's say Kim was at a place where you could have came up to her and be like, Kim, I just don't think it's right for you to wear fur. And then she would have had a discussion with you. Maybe y'all would have talked.
Like, you know what? Why you think that?
Yeah.
And you're going to calmly have a discussion.
That could have been a conversation. But what you chose to do is run at her. Not to get to what you said. Back up. Right? You ran at the bitch, which is already offensive to somebody. It's like, okay, now I got to fight.
Right.
So you running at her, and then you start screaming, stop wearing fur, telling her what to do, demanding shit. Okay, now I'm going to wear some more fur. Like I said, she didn't have fur on in the video. I would have said, go to my car, grab my fur coat, my fur hat, my fur umbrella, my fur boots, and my fur pants.
Now we're going to be running the field in this bitch. Kill all the damage.
Because, like I said, you can't think that you're going to have a healthy discussion with somebody and change anybody's mind. Or even have somebody start to think more. Because maybe Lil Kim never even thought about what happens to animals. Because that's one thing, me knowing what they do to animals for the fur is one of the biggest reasons why I don't wear fur. Not only because fur is so expensive and it don't look no different than a cheaper faux fur. Yeah. But knowing what they do to them is just like, okay, I can't be a part of that. Now, that's neither here nor there. I mean, I do contribute in the meat eating business and, you know, they do all that shit to them. That's one step at a time, bitch. But if you want to have this discussion, you have to know how to talk about it. Because one thing that would have affected me, because even watching the video, I was like, oh, good God. When he played the audio of the animals being slaughtered to get the fur, maybe that would have been something that would have changed her mind. She no longer was even listening to that.
She probably wasn't.
She didn't hear nothing else about that.
She probably couldn't hear it for that old stank bitch yelling.
So again, there are so many things that you could have done that could have made this be a positive thing, or at least a thought-provoking. Even if Lil Kim does not change, it would have provoked a thought for her to think about it. Now, whether that thought was fleeting is a different story.
How about you refocus that energy, make a documentary?
Make a documentary or talk to the people that actually...
Have seminars. Do something that actually is going to promote change in the world. Mm-hmm. You on the street freezing your pussy lips off to scream at somebody that don't give a fuck about you. You know, it doesn't
as
change
if Lil Kim
the
is
world.
the sole wearer of fur.
like she invented fur.
I'm sure there were probably several people in the audience of the people outside waiting for her wearing fur because it looked cold. So, sure there were several people in there wearing fur and they're yelling at her.
It's pointless to me. And I always get extremely irritated with that. And like I said, there's a lot of things that go on in this world that I don't agree with. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to stand on the street shouting at nobody. I'm not going to protest nobody. If you aren't harming people, she didn't. Granted, she's wearing it, but she didn't. She didn't go out and slaughter. She didn't slaughter it. How about you shout at the people that's doing it? Mm-hmm.
But I guess
that'd be a little bit more productive.
I feel like people always like, well, it's good. Well, they are doing it because you're buying it.
They're buying it.
I'm like, okay, well, still, I'm not doing what you're yelling, what you're so mad about the way they're getting killed. That's them.
I didn't choose it. Now, me personally, I do strongly believe that they could just shave the animals if that's what they want to do. I don't see what's so hard about
except
shaving.
for leather. They have to skin a bitch.
I mean, yeah. But, you know, but if we're talking about
fake leather,
fur.
faux leather looks good too. Go ahead.
I don't care for leather. But, I feel that if fur is what we're talking about, I feel like what's the problem with shaving the animals? I feel like it's probably just going to be more work for them because they would have to get the individual hairs and do this, and I think they just don't want to do that.
I mean, okay, then don't do
that.
But put your money in faux
different about it than weave? Mm-hmm. You know, we shave heads for weave. We don't scalp a bitch.
How could you imagine? Bitches walking around
I love my weave. Don't nobody shout down the street talking about shame on you for wearing this wig. Girl, I'm sorry for your misfortune, but I'm gonna wear this wig.
I am sorry to that woman.
I'm sorry to that woman. I would see her down the street and wouldn't know a thing.
But off of that, now we can hop into this good Joker movie review, which I have a few things to discuss after going through it, or probably at the end of it, about other people's, not a lot of people, but like other comments I've seen of the movie. Mm-hmm. one thing that bothered me were people saying, like this one dude had said he had just watched the Joker movie and he thought it was a terrible movie, and he was like, and so somebody asked him or they elaborated with him and said, I didn't like it either, and he was like, I was just so confused through the whole thing, and I was just like,
what was there to be confused
I
about?
asked, 'cause I wasn't even trying to be like combative or anything. I just really wanted to know
confused.
what was
I'm
confusing.
confused.
Yeah. I'm confused about Joker Fever.
Right.
I feel like that movie was pretty well laid
very
out.
straightforward.
And so I was like, what were you confused about? And never got a response. Respond to everybody else on there.
Oh, before we continue, spoiler alert. we have to
said
say
anything
it. Huh?
Have you said anything?
We haven't, but
Okay.
I'm saying before we continue, spoiler alert, there will be spoilers. If you don't want to know nothing about the movie, you haven't seen it, click off.
Let me tell you something right now. I will never. You better hope Kimo always remembers, because I will never say spoiler alert. If
I'm just
you
saying,
hear
I
me
ain't got
hop up
time
on
to
here,
be roasted.
I'm not about to sit here. You heard me say we're about to discuss the Joker movie. We're about to give a review. If you sat your dumb ass down and listen to the rest of this, that is on you. I can't stand spoiler alerts for people.
I think it's stupid.
Like I said, if you want to do it, that's what I said. Then you better hope Kimo remembers, because I won't do it. I'll be fully aware about to spoil this shit and won't give a fuck. But it just kills me because it'd be different if, okay, Kimo and I don't care about spoilers.
No,
but
I
like,
don't.
let's say you were in the room and Aaron and I saw a movie. You, in this scenario, you care about spoilers. Now, me and Aaron are discussing this movie, and I'm just like, such, just talking about the plot and everything like that, just giving pivotal points in the movie. And you know, it's like, Kenny, goddamn. Now that I understand, you didn't get a choice in this matter. I came in the living room and started talking to her. That's different to me. In that case, then I've been like, okay, Kimo, we about to talk about this movie. Now, if you don't care about this, let me know so we can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. But YouTube, TV shows, whatever the fuck, and mostly YouTube, that's where most of the reviews are nowadays.
Yeah.
If you see a video title that says Joker movie, not even just Joker, any movie review, and then the thumbnail says movie review, and you get your dumb ass up and sit down and click on that movie review, and then get mad that said movie review spoiled the movie. I don't understand.
That was reviewed.
Right? Like, I don't understand the logic here. And it irritates me because people have bitched about it so much that so many people are so scared to just discuss something that they have already given an alert for. Your first alert was reading the title.
Yeah.
Your second alert was seeing the thumbnail. Well, I'll say your first alert was seeing the thumbnail. Your second alert, because visual is what captures you first.
Yeah.
So first alert was the thumbnail. Second alert was the title. Now, you wanted me to give you a third one because you too dumb to have reading comprehension, bitch? No. I'm sorry. I just get so heated about it. Anyway, like I said, it upsets me because they have gotten people to be so scared to just discuss a movie without having to do a 7 million fucking spoiler alert in the video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we don't need this. I came here to hear what you thought about the movie because I don't care about these spoilers. Now, if I care about these spoilers, I would go see the movie first and then come watch it.
Yeah.
Because Grace does that. She'll always say, now, if you haven't seen this movie, I guarantee
Because she has a non-spoiler review, and then she
always,
has spoiler
now,
review.
she does, though. The thing is, even that, the titles and the pictures of
It
them
tells
say review, spoiler review.
Yeah.
Again, if you don't have reading comprehension, ain't got shit to do with me, sir. Go back to school. Anyway.
Sorry to get off topic.
This just pissed me off. But so the person was, like I said, I commented to them and asked them what were you confused about. I never got a response. They responded to everybody else but me. And I feel like
It's because you didn't readily agree with their...
Because everybody else did.
Yeah.
Everybody else that was in his comments, and it was like 20 of them, but they were just like, it was, of course, comparisons to Heath Ledger.
Of course.
They didn't think that he was as good as Heath Ledger. It didn't make any sense. The movie confused them. It was stupid. Nothing was happening in the movie.
This is a completely different character, y'all.
It always is.
So
Not
I'm
even from
confused.
Heath Ledger, but no Joker has been the same that has been portrayed.
None. Everybody takes their own spin on it. This is a completely different characterization from the very beginning when we were talking about the origin. This is an origin I've never read for Joker.
The thing is,
I could be
nobody
wrong. I know the Joker has a lot of different origins.
And that's what that's one thing I'm going to get into about this because as somebody that I I read comics. I don't care for DC. I care for DC's villains, which most of them come from Batman, so I have to be also invested in Batman. Like, I don't really know any other main villains that are not from Batman. I mean, there's like 5.
I know some Superman villains. Like
Yeah, Superman. But child, you'd be hard pressed for me to find one outside of those two.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Joker is somebody who his history is shrouded in mystery because he's told things that don't make sense or that contradict themselves.
Which is why I liked Heath Ledger, because every time he would tell somebody his origin story,
About
it'd
his
be
smile.
different. Yeah, it'd always be different. And it was like, I think they said they decided to do that because even he doesn't know.
Yeah, and that was something where what's Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of it was very much so he didn't know either. It was a different reason that he didn't know, because I don't think Heath Ledger was. At least he didn't tell that he was abused, or no. One of his stories was that he was.
One
abused,
of his
right?
was that his
So he said
father did it. Yeah.
But Joaquin Phoenix's character, he had some trauma. His childhood was terrible to the point where he got beat. I mean, but he got beaten so bad that he couldn't fucking remember his past.
Yeah,
like he couldn't remember any of the shit that he went through. And then even when he started to remember some of the things, he was having hallucinations and shit. So it was like,
I think definitely, he adopted his dissociative disorder, dissociative personality disorder from his mother, who also was suffering from mental illness.
The thing is, though,
that he was not aware of.
He wasn't aware of it, but that wasn't even his real mother.
Well,
remember, she found him.
No, that wasn't his real mother, but I feel like just off association.
Yeah, I was just thinking because the trait passed down, but it was like we didn't relate it. But I guess because he knew nobody else.
I feel like he just adopted it because. Also, not only that, just the relationship together was weird. You know, how he was. I mean, his whole life was for her. Even as an adult, everything he did, and he was still living with her, and he didn't have his own life.
Putting her to bed, and
and I feel like that can develop traumas of its own, and then also with him living this very impoverished life, and this shitty clown job, kids beating him in the street. Like, it seemed like every day he was getting his ass whooped.
And then his boss getting mad at him for the sign or whatever.
Yeah, and then
he was like, "Didn't you hear what happened?" Because everybody else in the room was talking about what happened, and he was like, "Come on, kids stole the sign for what?" I'm like, I asked him.
But my thing is, though, why was it not believable that kids would steal it, but it was believable that I would?
Yeah,
that's what I forget about that. Why?
I didn't even think about
this
that.
This person who clearly did nothing to nobody. Why would he steal a sign?
I think that goes back to something that we always say: people treat you the way you let them treat you.
Very much so.
Because I don't think if what was his name? Joaquin Phoenix, the Joker's actual name they gave him in the movie, because that's his real name, Arthur. Even if Arthur had stood up for himself or was able to stand up for himself, that wouldn't have went down that way. I mean, now, not to say those kids wouldn't have came through and snatched the sign. That could have all still happened, but the boss playing him like this wouldn't have happened. This had to have come from a long line of him just saying offhand shit and
of course,
him just taking it.
But I mean, but that would have changed the entire storyline. If he wasn't this type of person, none of this stuff would happen.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been at this job. He wouldn't have been living in poverty. He would, so I mean, it took that personality for him to be the type of person that just took whatever anybody gave him and smiled about it, because that's what he did. For him to get the breakdown that he ends up having.
Yeah.
It takes that type of person who is allowing everybody to kick him and kick him and kick him, and there becomes a point where you don't want to be kicked no more. It gets to that point.
Yeah.
The thing is about this particular storyline for the Joker is, we discussed this. This is a man's descent into madness by just sheer series of unfortunate events. And it's just constantly, he kept getting blow after blow. I mean,
and some of them, it started off slow.
And
then it was just like they were
back to back.
I was like, God, I would go kill somebody as fast as they were happening.
Because at the beginning of the movie, it starts with him getting beat up by those kids. And then that dude gives him that gun, which then in turn, he...
Gonna lie and say that he didn't do it.
Drops at a children's hospital. He gets fired for dropping it, and then he was told that he bought the gun from the dude instead of even giving it to him. So he loses his job.
Because didn't he give it to him and he was like, just looking out for you or some shit like
you
that?
my boy, is what he said.
And then quickly
turned on him. Also, he was in some program that was paying for his medication. That failed, and so he was no longer getting his medication.
And even with it not failing, or not discussing it failing, the woman that was his, like, was she psychiatrist, or what would they call her? Like,
I would say like a social worker.
Yeah, social worker. His social worker wasn't even listening to him.
No, she was not. I feel like she was just there to get her paycheck. I feel like not because she's a bad person. I feel like she also had her own, because she said they don't care about people like me either. So I think when you feel like people don't care about you, you don't care. Yeah. So I feel like that's had a lot to do with that. And so that happened. And then he found out about being adopted, which he didn't know about. Then he thought...
Which I still say, I feel she wanted him to find that. Now, this is not confirmed or anything. Yeah. But to me, I say that because if you wanted to hack this secret from him, why would you write this letter and leave it on the table? Just open.
I feel like, okay, because she was living her fantasy still. Although in her mind, she's supposed to keep it secret because all of this is very real for her. Because she was supposed to have this whirlwind affair with, what's his name? Thomas Wayne. Thomas Wayne, that they had to keep secret because of who she was. And Arthur was Thomas's son. And I feel like she left it there because she would like for him to find out, but she couldn't tell him because it would be, voiding the contract that she made with Thomas. And in her mind, all of this was real. Yeah. So
to me, that's what it felt like. Because I don't understand how there is something that you want to keep secret, and you just like let's say I had some horrible secret. Like, let's say I killed a body, dug it up in the back, or dug up a hole in the back and threw it back there. And I never wanted y'all to find out. But I went ahead and went in the living room, of all places, wrote this letter to myself about it, and was like, you know what, let me just go to sleep in the bedroom.
Just leave it in the living room.
And then be surprised and shocked when you find out. Like, I just feel like that's something you do when you want the secret to come out.
I feel like she did, because I feel like she wanted to share it, but like I said, in her mind, she couldn't say it. So she's like, you know what, if I leave this letter here, he would find out.
If I leave these breadcrumbs.
And so when he finds out that Thomas is quote unquote his father, and then he goes and he meets Bruce as a kid, and he's like, trying to talk to him. Tries to talk to Thomas. Thomas decks him in the face. And then it's like, you know what? No, your mama's crazy. We never did anything.
He punched the shit
He did.
out of him.
He did.
I was like, good God.
My God, he did.
I was like, your nose is broke, boy. You need to go find that social worker again. See if she can give you some pills.
Lord. And then he goes, to Arkham, gets the paperwork, find out all of his mother's dalliances, and finds out he's adopted and all the truth. And then he goes and he kills his mother.
That I did not see coming. For me,
either.
Like, there was a lot of stuff in this movie that I did not see coming. And usually, when it comes to movies, I am watching it, and it doesn't ruin the enjoyment for me. But I pinpoint, like, this is gonna happen at this point. This is gonna happen at this point.
Yeah, but I like doing that.
Yeah, I like doing that because now it's just like, okay, now how right am I?
Yeah, I like to see
it
if
becomes
I
like
can
a
guess
game.
it. Yeah.
So, like I said, it doesn't ruin the enjoyment of the film for me, but. There was no moment in the movie where I was just like, I know exactly what's about to happen next, because shit was popping off in ways. It was very much so a different telling of I want to say superhero genre film, but this was not really about superheroes. It was, which is what I loved about it. It was about a person going through very real things that just so happen to be in a universe set around superheroes, which at that time there really weren't, because Batman was a kid.
Batman wasn't around, and there wasn't, there was just crazy people in the streets because they were mad about the economy. And so he got beat up on the train by those crazy people and all that type of stuff, and then he kills them.
I think that's what set it off. That's what set off the whole thing, is because they all knew that those three boys were assholes. They were rich assholes. Yeah. And so when it came out that he was on this train, and what bothered me, I didn't discuss this when we talked about it after seeing the movie. So the woman that he ended up trying to help, or helping essentially, who was getting picked on, the three boys yelling or throwing fries at her? Is that what they were doing?
They were throwing something at her. I think it was fries.
They were throwing fries at her as she's sitting there because she wouldn't talk back to them. And they're like, "Oh, you don't speak," or whatever the situation is. And so then, I keep forgetting the boy's name. Joker. Arthur. I keep on saying Anthony. I'm like, I know it's an name, but Arthur, because he has that disability where he laughs. Yeah. Did they give it a name? Or did
It just says, because even on that card, it didn't really have a name. It just said that he had a disability that makes him laugh uncontrollably.
Because I didn't know if that was a real
return
thing
this
or
card.
not. Please return this card. So give it to the next person.
Right? I was like, you only got one.
But so he goes into his laughing fit and can't stop, so he hands him the car, and then they still get offended about it. They kept asking him, or did he hand him the car? I think he did, didn't he?
No.
Or was that to the woman on the bus? That was the woman on the bus.
That was the woman on the bus when he was
that's the first time we saw
making
the car.
her son laugh, and she was like, "Stop messing with my son."
Okay, but it was fine for your son to be in my face.
Right?
Because had your son been sat down and turned around.
Right? This would have never happened.
But
I feel like it would have been different if he was like touching him inappropriately.
Yeah.
But all he said was making him laugh. I didn't see anything wrong with that.
this little boy was turned around in the bus seat, looking me dead in my face.
Yeah.
Now, had I told him to turn his ugly ass around, you'd have been mad. So
Yeah.
instead, I'm sitting here playing with the little boy, just like making goofy faces or whatever, making him laugh, and you got an attitude about it.
Yeah.
Leave my son alone. Bitch, how about you leave this bus before I kill you?
Well, the thing is about the train, when he was on the train and the woman walked away, because I don't know if he exactly tried to help, because he was just
I
standing
don't
there.
think he tried to help, but he did help her because they died. So they
I
were
mean,
because I feel like
that was for her.
I mean, it wasn't for her,
'Cause
but
by that
there's only
time-
one place for that that I thought that was going to go. They were going to do something to that woman.
I
Ripping
thought they
her.
were too.
They were going to end up, in my mind, they're going to end up ripping her at some point. They can no longer rape because they're dead.
Yeah.
Now, he did not mean to help her, but involuntarily, he
Involuntarily,
did.
yeah.
So
Because he
for
started
her
laughing.
to describe what he looked like, but not think to mention, oh, but they were fucking with me.
No, I'm sure she did not.
So they got these boys up here being portrayed as a martyr or like as some heroes or whatever that got just
And
taken
they
away
were.
too soon.
Even when he got to what's his name, Murray.
Oh yeah.
Murray, they got to his show. He
Murray.
was like, Murray, that he was talking about, you killed these innocent dudes,
Yeah,
these bright young
that
guys.
they should have been able to come in with her story of, okay, the three boys that y'all are calling heroes or innocent were fucking with me.
Yeah.
Before he even got into the equation, but nobody said anything about that, and I was like, okay, so
Yeah, they just-
but you were of sound mind and thought to go ahead and give the description of what the fuck is his name again? Arthur. I'm just calling him Joker.
Joker.
Every time I try to say Arthur, I say Anthony in my head. I'm like, wait.
Anthony, that's not it. But the thing is, because when he was laughing and the girl ran away, and they started singing "Sitting in the Clouds," which I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, they're singing this, and they go over there, and I was like, okay, where is this gonna go? And then they started like beating the shit out of him. Really, like I said, he was defending himself, and
he truly was.
within that defending himself, I feel like he got his first taste of blood, and that ricocheted into him becoming who he is. His personality was starting to change, and all of that. So I think that moment, although he was defending himself, he was like, you know what, this feels empowering.
Yeah.
And
because he even said, he was like, after that was the first time. No, I think it was after he saw the news story. He said this is the first time he feels like he's actually being seen.
Yeah.
So I think he got his first taste with the blood, but then once he heard them talking about it, it like solidified it for him. Like, okay, this is what I got to do. So we gonna get some shit
and
done.
then after that, he was just killing people left and right.
Right. But do you think by that point he was already off of his pills for a significant amount of time? Because they really don't give you timestamps to know when's happening. But we know that that was like right after. That was like part of the stuff that was leading up to
he had
all
already,
the shit like rolling downhill.
Yeah.
But he
I
already
think
went through
that
the
it
process.
had something to do with it. I definitely do, because he didn't, when he was on the pills, when those kids beat him up, he didn't fight back at all. He just laid there. So I think that, although he didn't have a gun at that point, but I feel like
even if he did, you don't think he would have used it?
I don't think he
would
would have used it.
docile a person.
Yeah, I think that once he got off his pills, and you just saw the gradual change in his perspective, because
which was expertly done.
It was expertly done.
Like it was
after
not
he
like
got off his pills,
like a quick shift. It was just like things, like subtle things you would notice.
But the biggest thing you notice is after he got off his pills, he started to smoke.
Yes, instantly.
And he didn't smoke at all while he was on his pills. And like because
that's when I started to notice the change
differently, and he
and articulate himself better.
He was starting to articulate himself. He also was starting to dance all over the place.
Weird.
But I really liked how they did it. Like his dancing. Like he was in another world.
He was.
And I really like how they depicted that. And
the guy that the director.
who was the
The producer, I think it was the director. I can't think of his name, but he's been doing some interviews. One thing that he had said was people were asking him about the end of the movie when Joker's laughing to the nurse or whatever you want to call that woman. She's asking him questions, or she was talking to him, and he's just like,
sure she's a psychologist.
but she's like just laughing, or he's just laughing, and she's like, "What's funny?" And he said, "You wouldn't get the joke."
Yeah.
He has said he put that there because it makes you think. Which also goes back to Joker having so many different stories because he never tells like just one.
Yeah.
He has said he put that there because now it makes you wonder. So was any of that real? Because a lot of stuff that was happening in it did not happen. Like we just kept having revelations of things that wasn't real. So he's like, he put that there so that the audience can have a question.
But that's also something that Aaron said. I remember after we watched, he said it did make him wonder if any of that even happened.
Yeah.
Which I guess would be
and like that whole process was like the whole movie was essentially him thinking of this whole scenario and then giggling to himself and the woman asked the question. And I'm just like, that would make me probably upset or at least like look at the movie differently for anything else. But because I know the origin of Joker and how his stories vary so much, because I don't know if it's canon that he does not know.
Yeah.
But he never sits on one story.
Yeah.
So, and it's always been changed from artist to artist, writer to writer. Everybody comes in with their own takes, and it works because no one knows. So you have a sandbox essentially to play in.
It's fine to do that, and and I feel like it works in the case of this movie being a standalone film. Since they say they really had no plans of doing any other films with this Joker.
Joaquin Phoenix seems to think otherwise. Well, I don't know if he seems to think otherwise, but he wants it. He's like, I'll be fine with it.
He said that he would if they were to come up with something interesting. Which, I mean, I'm sure he would. I mean, he's getting a lot of accolades for this role.
Really
Who wouldn't? So I feel like,
he's getting a lot of accolades, but there are also a lot of people that are saying negative things about the movie, which, I mean, is a thing. It's going to happen. But one thing that actually I can't shit on too much, because I thought that while we were watching the movie, was, is this not glorifying, but a lesser word than glorifying for like mentally ill people? Is it showcasing mentally ill people in a bad light, and is it glorifying people getting upset and murdering people? But I was like,
I don't feel like it is. I feel like
that's what I thought as we got to the
like
end
this
of it.
Need to be told.
I feel like things like this can happen.
Things do happen, and it is a
just
part,
because you don't make a film about it, or you don't talk about it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
You don't have to agree with every character that you like on
Yeah.
TV. I love villains. One of my favorite villains is Hannibal Lecter. Do I think what he's doing is right? No. But this is a character. Movies is supposed to imitate life in the human condition. This is a very realistic take on the human condition. I don't think it's glorifying it. I don't think there was any part in the movie that said that what he was doing was okay. It didn't. I mean, what it did signify for me is that it is understandable how a person can
get from point A to point Z.
The life that you're living, you can see how that would break a person down.
It can.
It doesn't condone it. It doesn't make it right.
It just showcases
it, and it's a real human condition. And it doesn't.
I think what makes people uncomfortable about it is a lot of people. A
lot of these people can see that happening to them.
And see it's happening to them because they've done this to somebody. Yeah. They've been that person pushing this person down, bullying them. Looking past them when they need help and stuff like that, and belittling them. They see themselves doing that, and they're like, well, let's not shine too much light on this, because the person I did this to may hop up. Blow my brains out.
Well,
I'm fine, because I don't mistreat anybody, unless you come and mistreat me, then we got it. But if I see somebody like, even when we talk about when we were at work and Mario had noticed me saying hi to the janitor, which I always do. Yeah. If you look at me, I'm gonna say hi to you. Yeah. And so I said hi to the janitor, and she was like, "I've never seen anybody else do that here." And I was like, she was in there.
I was like, I would. I've had full-on conversations with janitors. I mean, they have things to talk about too,
right?
Like I don't know why people
especially
think that
when I worked
don't.
at Asurion, I used to talk to. There was these two. Child, they had all the tea.
They know everything.
So I was always up there talking to them, not specifically for the tea, but whenever I come in, they say hi to me. I say hi
they
back.
have personalities. They're people. Just because they don't have a great job, don't mean that they don't matter.
Are any less of a person. And those are the people that are higher up than them that treat them like shit. Don't say nothing to them. Walk past them. Throw something on the floor because they walking by. Yeah. And then when they get scared now. Like, let's not spread these rumors of people doing this.
I feel.
But I was thinking about it while we were watching the movie. I'm like, is this glorifying it or not glorifying it? Is it trying to make us be sympathetic to this?
I'm not sympathetic at all.
And I'm not either. And that's what, like, as we went through the movie, I was like, okay, now I see this is just telling the story, like the ABCs of how this
your
went
reaction
down.
to a movie or any art or anything in life says a whole lot more about you than it does the movie.
Yeah.
I can disassociate myself from the movie. This is like a psychological study if you were to even really think about it. And it's just like watching any type of, and I love researching serial killers. I love the psychology of it because my thing is, I'm like, what brings a person to this point? I never felt that, so it's something I want to understand. Like, how do you get there? And all of these people have a common thread: is they lived tragic lives.
Yes.
And so it's trauma. And that movie is complete and utter trauma.
Through and through. One thing that did throw me, that we talked about this too, going back to things that were surprising about the movie or things that I never saw coming, when he gets into that room and what's the black woman's name that he was dating?
I do not remember her name, but...
that he thought he was dating.
Yeah, that he thought he was dating.
Come
to find out, he wasn't.
Let me tell you, I was in such disbelief that when he was on the couch and she came in there like, are you in the wrong house? I still didn't get it at that point. Yeah. I was like, oh, his hood's on his head. He's looking other way. It's dark. Maybe she was like...
I was questioning it anyway because, like I said, that first scene where he knocks on her door and they had only had like one tiny exchange, and for him to knock on her door and they just fucked, I was just like, now.
I questioned it, but I never thought of it again after that point. Yeah. I questioned it because I had turned to Aaron and I was like, child, she must have just been horny.
I just couldn't see you being that horny. No,
I ain't been dick down in years.
It would have been different because, not to say this because this sounds bad, but he wasn't an attractive man. He wasn't the most sane man. And if me personally, I would have sympathy for this man and I would feel for him, but I would look at him saying, this man needs some help. Yeah. If I saw him walking around in my apartment complex, and I would always have my doors triple locked. Yeah. If I saw a man like that, and it's sad to think that, but I'm just being honest. So if this man would have knocked on my door, I would not have opened it. So I'm just like, that's not realistic at all. So I was questioning, but at the same time, I didn't really go fully into thinking that it was, a figment of his imagination, this entire fabricated relationship.
Like, it wasn't until she had said, your name is Arthur, right?
And it was like, wait a minute.
Oh, bitch.
And then they played back all that shit.
Yeah. Like, all the stuff that she was around for and them kissing and being cute on the street, and then it was just him by himself.
Just by himself.
I was like, oh, my God.
But that scene where, when she knocks on his door and they're talking, originally, and then when they go back and play that, and he's just at his door by himself.
Yes.
Talking. I'm like, no one noticed this?
And I'm assuming this all started after he was off his meds. So he started hallucinating right as soon as that ended. And that just makes me think, because remember when he was talking to the social worker, she had said, you want like 7 pills. Because I think he said he wanted more.
He wanted more.
Yeah, she was like, you want 7 pills. One of them got to be doing something.
What he wanted, because although they had to be helping, but I think what he wanted was a pill that was going to make him feel good. Yeah. Because there was that one scene where he said, all my life I was forced to pretend like I was happy, but I haven't had one moment in my life where I actually was happy. And I think that he wanted to feel happiness, and maybe if there was a pill that would give him that, he wanted to try it. I don't think there's such a pill.
I mean, people spend their lives to their deaths looking for a pill to make them happy, and it never happens. So I feel like we should all just come to the conclusion that that's not a thing and leave it alone, because ain't not a single person found it. So,
and granted, speaking of the human experience, I mean, it's hard to be happy. I have to be very honest. It's hard some days. And I do try to find at least one moment in the day to be happy. But it's hard sometimes to find those moments.
Things happen too often.
To live that life.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't live that life. But to live that life, I could not imagine.
I
would have offed myself a long time ago.
But I still haven't looked at the trailer again because remember I said I thought they had pulled a prank on him at the when he went to what is his name again? The talk show host.
Something Murray. Franklin Murray.
Murray.
Frank.
I was trying to think of the
Murray.
way that Joker says Murray. I couldn't do it in my head though. But when he went to Murray's show, I could have sworn in the trailer they had played a prank on him. While he was there, and I thought that was what was going to send him off. But I guess because Aaron has said he thinks the prank or the situation that just pissed him off was just the whole, with him playing that clip over and over and over again of him bombing at the, Laugh Factory or something similar to it.
But that wasn't even in the movie either.
With him bombing?
Was it?
Yeah.
I do not remember.
When he was up there and he was laughing to his damn
No,
self.
I'm talking about. Was it in the movie that they played the clip?
Not when he was on the show.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember seeing
his
that.
mom was in the hospital at that time, and he saw himself come on the Murray show, and as they were discussing, they were saying that they wanted to show this comedian or somebody that's trying to be a comedian and blah, blah, blah. And so they played the clip of his routine. Yeah. And then at the end of it, he had said that joke about my mom used to always tell me to go to school so that I can get a good job or whatever. And he was like, well, Mom, I'm going to be a comedian. And then he was like, maybe you should find a better job, is what Murray said. Okay. And his whole audience laughed. And then they didn't really show that Arthur had a reaction to it. Because when it happened, he stood there and just looked at the screen. And I'm sure it was like probably processing in his head. Yeah. But when he was like in the movie, I remember thinking like, oh, is he mad? Is he happy? Does he? Because I thought it could have went two ways. He could have been really pissed at this person he looked up to so much because he loved Murray. Yeah. He looked up to this man so much, and now he's dogging on him on his show, or because he has such a loose grip on reality that he saw that and was like, oh, he is screaming my praises. Like, and I couldn't gather that because he was just standing there looking and like it was a blank void expression.
I feel like because he was very excited to be on the Murray show, I don't think that he went on the show intending to kill him. I think it was always a possibility, but as much as he practiced and wanted to do very well and seemed to still admire him, I think that he had every intention on just going on there and having a good time. But I do remember him practicing a bit with the gun of like shooting himself.
Yeah, but he never got to that.
He never got to that. And
it was like a knock-knock joke.
He did a knock-knock joke. And then they got into that whole thing where, y'all decide what's funny, blah, blah, blah. And then, okay, he's really not, he's just making fun of me. And I think, but when he realized that, then he shot the fuck out of him.
Because, that makes sense. Because I was thinking it was more of when he got the call to, when did he get the call to be on the show? Was it right after he had killed that man that gave him that gun?
No. He had got the call to be on the show after his mother died, after he killed his mother. And remember, he was getting ready for the show. He was
getting ready for the show.
When they came.
And I remember, child, that scene by itself. The way
Poor Gary.
I already knew when he came up in that room, I was like, you're going to die.
Yeah.
I don't see this going well for you. But I also thought the midget man was going to die too.
I didn't want him to die. He was so sweet.
But I didn't see life in his future.
Luckily he got away. But at least he had the conscience enough to be like, okay, well, you're the only person nice to me.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, and that just goes back to show you people like that go mad. Again, this is not glorifying it or anything like that, but people that go mad like that, they remember the people that didn't do shit to them.
My thing is, how about we stop treating people like shit just because they are? Because I would say that he's a little bit, mentally challenged. If we can say that. I don't know if that's PC enough.
He is.
But we can say that.
When you on 7 different medications to keep from hallucinating, bitch, you mentally challenged.
I went to high school and just like any other school, I'm sure your school did too. They had like the classes for the more mentally challenged, the special ed and the CDC or whatever you call them, and those kids, and people would make fun of them, but I always talked to them. I remember there was one little kid I don't want. I mean, we were the same age, but I don't know him as an adult, so that's why still in my mind he's a kid.
Stop aging after that.
Right. So he had like this thing around his, because I don't know what he had, but he couldn't really walk correctly. So he had this thing that he would wear around his midsection, and it had like 6 legs. They kind of made him like a spider, and it was like he was just wheel himself down the road, down the aisle with wheels, just like on that little chair right there, and he would just wheel himself. But it wasn't like a wheelchair or like a walker. It was something that was like literally around his waist, and he would just go. And I've never seen anything else like that in my life.
Anything like this.
So I don't know exactly where it came from, but he was the sweetest little boy. He thought I was a girl, and he would always come up to me and be like, "You are the prettiest girl I've ever seen." And I'd be like, "Well, thank you."
I mean, I'd crush your dream.
I'm like, "Well, thank you. What can I say? I didn't want to, but and granted, this is before I started doing anything like, wearing makeup or anything like that. All I had was long hair, and I wear baggy clothes, and that was all it was. But yeah, I would talk to all of them. They all are sweet people, and to sit up, and I grew up, as you remember, my uncle he wasn't born with meningitis, but he got it at an early age, and he was paralyzed, blind, and deaf. And I would have never been okay with anybody saying anything about him. I also have a deaf cousin, and I have a cousin that's albino, and I had a lot of people who had those type of challenges in my family, and so I don't know. That just made me very protective of them because, especially growing up with my uncle. And seeing how he suffered throughout his entire life, I could not have dared, made fun of anybody that had a condition.
I've only had one person, and it was later on in my life, that I know of at least, that had like a mental disorder, and it was my younger cousin who has what is it called? Autism. He has autism, but that didn't stop me from knowing how to be a decent human. If this person didn't do anything to me, why am I doing anything to them? That's just, I never understood. Now, I can't go back and say that when I was in school, I like went out of my way to talk to people like that, but I've always been the person, so I can say without a shadow of a doubt that if they spoke to me, I spoke to them. Or if we locked eyes, I was going to speak to you. Yeah. I have to despise you to not speak to you, period.
Yeah.
I cannot like you and still say hi, bye. I mean, you're not going to get too much else out of me, but I'll give you a good hi and bye. But if I don't like you, which, like I told y'all before, my brother has a friend. I don't know if he's still his friend, but I don't speak to that boy. And I made that very clear when we were in high school. Yeah. Well, I was in high school. They were still, I think, 8th grade or becoming a freshman. But there was just something about him. Now, I don't know the boy from Adam and Eve. But there was something about the vibe or the presence I got from him. And I was like, I just know. I ain't nothing good about him. And I can't prove or disprove that. But I know I wasn't going to be no part of it. So I never said, you can't talk to my brother. You can't come to our house. I never said anything like that. I'm just not going to speak to you. Yeah. So that boy would be in the car full on talking to me, and I would not hear a thing.
I've never been in those situations. I never knew my brother's friends. My brother is almost 5 years younger than me. And also, we weren't allowed to have friends over. So, there was never no other kids in our car. Never no other kids in our house. My mom was very much on bring your friends over here. And so, no, I never got in those kind of situations. But,
he was just... that boy would speak, and it would just, he would, laugh he would tell a joke and laugh, and I just remember, creeping up my spine, the hatred that I wanted to, spew at him. But, again, I was conscious enough to know this boy has not done anything to you. Don't be an ass and, curse him out and fight him and shit like that. Yeah. But, again, I am very dead set. If I don't want to talk to him, I'm not going to talk to you. Yeah. And so that's what I did. I'm a man about my word.
Once I've decided I'm not talking to you, that is over. That is definitely over.
And I've told Cordell that. I've told the Bone, that was his nickname. I don't know his real name. But I told him that. I was like, I don't want to speak to you. And then he asked me why. And I said, I don't need to tell you why. I'm just not going to do it. Just know that don't talk to me if you're not going to talk back. I mean, if you want to talk to yourself, go ahead. Be my guest. But I'm not speaking to you. That's the end of this conversation. You can feel about how you want to feel about it. But I'm not going to talk. He's really the only person that I can think of in my life
That's had that
that I've
reaction.
done that. Because for the most part, I will speak to anyone. But to this day, there is something about him and I like to think that I'm a very good judge of character because I'm such a people watcher. I like to watch people, see how they do things. I'm like, okay, so you do 2 actions and I got who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I gauge the kind of person he is, and then I decided that I don't want to be a part of his life. And that was that for me. And I've never seen another person like that. Ever. Usually it takes more of me to get to know you before I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and push you to the side. But even then, I would still give you a good high and by. But him, just nah.
No.
He going to be the person that go mad and come kill me.
Yeah. I'm definitely the type
for
of
my
person, and you know this about me. Like, once you've done me wrong, and I have made up in my mind that you've done me wrong, we will not speak.
Yeah. And ain't no explanation that need to be had.
No. I will completely stop talking to you. There is somebody we worked with, and I decided not to speak to him anymore. He has made his purpose to speak to you, but he knew not to speak to me.
He messaged me the other day when I was talking to. I think he and Will had to be together because I was talking to
Probably.
Will, and I was talking to him about his shoes, and then he messaged me and was like, "Oh, what you doing?" And I was like, this is a random ass message.
Child, he was probably hustling real quickly over there, just looking at that phone. Who you talking to? I want to talk too. That boy, he wants to be Will so bad. But that's another topic for another day. We probably already went over 2 hours.
Oh, child, probably. I was getting close to it. But said all that to say about the Joker movie.
It's phenomenal.
It is a great movie. It is a great character study on a man's descent into madness and the things that push him there. I don't think it glamorizes it. I don't think that it condones it. I don't think that it even not apologizes for it, but makes excuses for it.
Yeah.
I think it just gives you, this is a man that went through these situations. This is the outcome of that situation.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. Now, you can come up with your own thoughts about if you think that it's pushing things on people to think like this, but that's not what this movie set out to do.
No.
That's you and your insecurities about fucking with people and not being scared that person you fucked with gonna come fuck with you. So, but I don't think anything about that movie is confusing. I think that movie is very much so, like you said, straightforward. Mm-hmm. It shows you very beautifully masterfully that how things happen. It didn't happen all really quickly. It was very, when I say slow, I don't want it to sound bad. Like, it was a very gradual thing. Like, you saw him go from being on his meds, like we were discussing, and then his meds had to be taken away because they couldn't fund it anymore. And then how his personality changed as he got to that, as he got towards the end of the movie. And then how he became the Joker. And it was just crazy how they were treating him like a messiah when they pulled him out the car.
Yeah.
They were so gentle. Just carry him.
Come out of here.
But the movie was fucking amazing. I definitely think everybody should go see it because I want this movie to do well, not because of it being a superhero movie, but because I want studios to start making superhero movies like this, where it is a genre film first about real people, and then put into a superhero environment. Instead of it being a superhero film and then you're putting in these tidbits of human traits.
But I feel like hopefully the moviegoers will support this movie and make sure that it does well. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say this is because I need DC to take note on what a good movie is.
Yes.
And this is it. Please support this movie so they continue to make good movies like this.
Yeah, because they make sequels for all their shitty movies.
And I just really, I don't particularly need this to be a sequel, but I just need for them to take the type of care into the creative process as far as, what is art. And I feel like they were losing that because they're trying to pander to an audience that was not for them. Yeah. So, with that saying, it's been a lovely time speaking to you all. And we'll be back next week. I don't think we're seeing any movies this...
Unless we go see Addams Family.
I mean, possibly. It is our birthday month.
Yeah. Either that or it'll be Maleficent. One of the two.
Well, we're definitely seeing Maleficent. Now, Addams Family is maybe. But I
was
must
saying
see.
that because good old T-Mobile Tuesday gave me a $4 ticket for it. So.
I mean, we can see it definitely with the $4 ticket.
Oh, well, it depends on where that $4 ticket take us. Because sometimes Alamo ain't on that list. And if Alamo ain't on that list, I'm not going to go see it.
Well, maybe I'll do AMC.
Possibly. Anyway, we'll come back with another movie review if we see something. Because I do enjoy discussing movies with you and going further into it. But are there any final thoughts that you have before we shut down?
No, I think we said it all.
All right. Well, see you guys all next week. Bye.
Bye.